May has come and gone, and with it, so many milestones, so many memories to keep in our memory banks. What a wonderful, wonderful month. There was a lot going on, but boy, it was just beautiful. Our youngest daughter graduated from junior high school. Our 17-year-old graduated not once, but twice in a day, so it was a full day. So she graduated from high school, and she was also for 2 years attending a vocational training institute. She specialized and certified within the radio and audio production course that they had. It's really, really impressive to see your kids grow up and the things that they accomplish, the things that they learn, their aspirations, who their friends are, what's important to them. It's such a wonderful gift to see this all unfold. It's just beautiful. So as you can imagine, May was a little crazy, a lot of award assemblies and just all the things that happen at the end of the year. June is slowing down a little bit, but not too much because we're still in the thick of things trying to get ready for college. There was one day that my friend from Feather Moon Healing and I took a moment out of our schedules and we went and we sat and had a wonderful time at this little cafe. It's called the Decadent Macaron, and it is so cute. They have like these little disco ball type flower arrangements on all of the tables, and it's cute and it's pink. And you know, I thought that this place was not going to be too good with their coffee because it was more, I don't know, like a chic type of cute little place that sold macarons. But no, the coffee was really good. I was really impressed with the time that we were able to spend there. We sat at a table, and when we get together, we just talk all day because we're bouncing off ideas one another. We're sharing very personal things with each other, and we're on the same mind frame. So I just love my time with her. Just, it's such a blessing to have a good friend. Anyhow, let's get to what happened here within the month of May. So as far as purchases are concerned, and I'm kind of running in a bunch of things here as far as purchases and my basket decks, plus whatever I used, it's all going to be in this one video because I didn't have time to do separate videos. So in May, I did purchase this tarot spread right here. Oh my goodness, I saw this on Livy's channel. She is over at Crescent Dreams Tarot, and this tarot spread cloth was part of the package that they had, or they were offering with the lighted window tarot. Now I didn't get that deck, but I fell in love with the tarot cloth. It has coffee cups on it, plus all these beautiful little symbols and everything. It's just adorable. So when I saw it, I was like, I need that tarot cloth. So this is new, and I really, really love this tarot cloth because it's perfect for me. I sit here in the morning, I'm sipping on my coffee, and it just seems so appropriate for me. Now, the other thing that I purchased was the Poesis book for the Poesis deck, and it has all the poems in here. They're all written. Now, I love having the library available to me online, and to be honest, looking at the library while I'm at my desk is really nice because the font is really big within their website, but I wanted the physical book. I love the poems that are included within this deck, so having the physical book is really nice. And sometimes I read these poems for my classes, so being able to just take a snapshot and read it to my class is just wonderful. But this was one of the things that I invested in, and I'm really, really happy that I took the time and the energy to go ahead and do this. Now, the other thing that I purchased this month is the Wisdom de Alma. And this is by Christine Gutierrez, and she is the same creator or the author of I Am Diosa. So this deck has really impressed me because it's labeled as an affirmation deck, but it's not flowery. It's not love and light kind of a thing. I really do enjoy the messages that are discussed within this deck, and I do have a full walkthrough with some pairings, but I'm going to show you one pairing that I didn't include in that video that I don't know how I missed it. It was just, it's a beautiful pairing, so we'll discuss that as well. Okay, so as far as basket decks are concerned for this month, let me just go ahead and bring this over here so I can share with you what's in the basket. So my basket decks idea is basically the tarot. The tarot is the base of the decks that I'm going to be working with through the month. And let me tell you, when I walked in May, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to accomplish this whole basket decks concept because my mind was scattered. There was a lot of things going on and I could not focus. Even walking into it in June, it's been a little bit different, but I will share with you the basket decks at the end of the month just so I can share with you what I'm trying to do here is just trying to give the decks within my collection a shot to get worked with, and so that I have some different energies flowing in depending on what's going on. Now, some decks, they're just going to be there because that's just, there's some decks that are really, really important to me. And then in addition to the decks that I choose, anything new that comes into my collection is going to be part of the basket decks collection. And then in this case, it was the Wisdom de Alma, which is an oracle. I'm considering it an oracle, not an affirmation deck. This works more for me like an oracle because it makes me stop and think. And we'll get more into that in just a few minutes. But in this case, anything new into my collection, I'm going to work around as well. So pulling in decks to have matches for this, pairings, and to see what works within it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's in here. So of course, I just mentioned the Wisdom de Alma. And then of course, the Be With Your Body Tarot. This is such an important deck for me, guys. I did not understand when it came in. I really like the concept of it. Again, you'll see it more in just a few minutes, but this is really an important deck for me. I really love that deck. The Jumble Dance Tarot, which I shared with you last month, or oh my gosh, I can't even remember. But anyhow, this was one of the gifts from my box, and I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to wait. I need to focus. Squirrel, right? The Jumble Dance Tarot was a gift, and I worked with that this month. Herbcrafters Tarot. Another one was Tarot Avatara. Another one was the Lilifer, the Future Ancestors, and the Superlunaris. And this is one of my standbys as well. So those were my base decks for the month. I'm going to put them back in my basket, and then we're going to just start talking about what I worked with and look into my journal a little bit. So here's all my decks used, my intentional decks, my basket decks. I'm really trying to keep track of everything that I'm doing, any money that I'm spending still, because, you know, I have a budget now, guys. I have a really intense budget with my daughter going off to college. There's certain things that she needs and certain things we need to cover, and I need to make sure that I have enough money in my pocket when we go in August to go and drop her off. So coming into the month, first thing, the May 1st, was Beltane. And for Beltane, I worked with the Living Altar Oracle. And this deck, if you haven't seen this deck, it doesn't get a lot of play. And you know what? I'm probably going to be doing this particular walkthrough or wrap up a little bit different than I usually do, just because I'm on limited time today as well. So this is the Living Altar deck. This is the back. These are big ass cards, guys. Like, look at that. They're big. I don't work with this a whole lot, but there are certain times where it just seems like this is the one to pull. So you don't see this all that often. And I have worked with it just as an oracle itself, and it holds its place, and it really does step in where some other decks just kind of miss the mark on the whole concept of this. I don't know, it's really tough to explain, but I do like pulling this for certain times within the year or the wheel of the year, or holding certain energies like the elements. This is an awesome deck, and I know it's been a while. This has one of those really buttery finishes on it, and the cardstock is excellent. But this is the Living Altar Oracle, and again, it's just a little bit different, and I really, really like this deck. It just sits and waits for me. Which I think, man, you're so patient in waiting for me, because in looking at it at first, you might feel like it's a little chaotic, but it's really not. It's a really fantastic deck. And I know that I can't explain the actual feeling that I get from this deck, but it's pretty amazing. And you can use these as just altar cards. Now in the back here, I always keep them separate, are the spell cards. And the art is just a little bit different on those two. So let me go ahead and put these away before we keep going. But yeah, these were kind of popular a few years ago, I guess. And now I don't see anybody talking about them or working with them. But the Living Altar is an amazing, amazing deck. So coming into Beltane, I just found a tarot spread. Who was this by? I can't even remember who this was by. Here's my spread. Here are the cards that I drew. There behind that is my journaling for it, but I'm not going to share that. And then coming into it, I was working with the Superlunaris. And there was some differences here when I was working with decks this month. And I noticed that because usually I'm always using an oracle and a tarot. And for some reason this month, or in the month of May, and continuing into this month in June, I've noticed that I've been working sometimes with just the tarot or just an oracle. You know what, guys? I can't ever say like, I will never do this, or I will never do that, or I always do this. Usually I always use with an oracle with a tarot. But we keep evolving, we keep changing, we keep shifting, and depending on what's going on within our life, within the outside world, you know, we're expected to change. If we just stay the same, it's just not good. And this talk of burnout, now I totally get it because I've been feeling it in a sense myself, but I recognize that the burnout, the idea of burnout, is growth. It's the idea that we're changing, that we're shifting, that we're taking on a different presence within our life because of how we've grown and how we've shifted. I mean, these are things we're supposed to do, guys, right? We're supposed to do this. So when we're at that crossroads and when we feel that shift and when we feel that change, those are the times when your body, when your mind, when your spirit is like, we can't do the norm anymore. And you're getting bored because you're past that part of it, or you're requiring something different at this time. So don't feel bad or sad that you've shifted and you've changed and that what you were doing previously isn't really working for you anymore, because that's just part of it. So here we are with the Be With Your Body and the Poiesis Tarot. Or Oracle. Oh my goodness, I've been doing that so much lately. Everybody has seen the Poiesis, and I just shared the book with you. But This deck is really, really amazing. I am using it a lot more than I even imagined, but here it is with the Be With Your Body Tarot. And although the art is not the same, the art does not have that overall cohesiveness. The colors are both muted. They're both very grounding colors. And the Be With Your Body Tarot is an extremely wonderful deck. I truly, truly love the Be With Your Body Tarot. It not only works for me in the capacity of helping guide my ideas or thoughts as I walk into a class, but the Poiesis does as well. But overall for me as well, like, how do I get grounded? How do I move through this day with the energies that are surrounding me? And both of these are very gentle, they're very kind, they're very helpful. And they do make you think. Both of these decks just make you think. I love reading the poems. I love the poems from the Poiesis. And the Be With Your Body Tarot, I have to say that the Be With Your Body Tarot, the guidebook, is exceptional. It's really good. I really love her work. I have since joined her Substack, and I'm really enjoying her Substack as well. I have purchased the meditations that she offers for each and every card. I'm a fan. I really like it. It's different. So that's the Be With Your Body Tarot, and that's the Poiesis. And I just, like I said, I really like it. And sometimes getting to the emotional part of how it makes me feel and where I'm feeling it and being all descriptive. You know what, guys? Sometimes there's not a word to match the feeling, and that's okay. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm mentioning that, you know, in Sanskrit, there are certain words that are descriptive, and even in Spanish, certain words that are so descriptive that they can just simply not be translated into English. So I always find that interesting. This was the new 260-day cycle within the Mayan astrology. So working with that energy, I just kind of took off with it. And if you notice here, here's Mayan energy, and then we're working with my yogic traditions here as well. And yeah, I'm meshing them together because all of these are foundational. All of these are bases. All of these connect. And these two are really where my passion for things really flows from, is my Mesoamerican type heritage and also my yogic philosophy. That really is what rules or is present within my collection and the way that I work with things and through things. So it's really, really important to me. This is the new moon in Taurus, and I love this art that I found. I just go on Pinterest now and start looking for things and start finding things. This is my ritual. This is my flow that I created for my classes as well, because that's always part of my ritual as well, is working with yoga. That is part of my ritual. So it's important that I include it in there, and I really like doing that. Okay. So my daughter and I, this idea of this particular moon, the new moon in Taurus, was all about grounded strength. And so I found this background thing here. Where did I find that? I can't even remember. But I went ahead and just included some seeds that I had received. As a matter of fact, I still have the seeds right here, because the seeds, to me, if I plant these seeds, guy, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them. I already know that. So I'd rather have the physical touch and energy of these seeds and working with them in this capacity. So I went ahead and included a picture of that along with the card that I drew. Oh no, those were the seeds. They fell out. Holy moly. Look at that, guys. Those are the seeds right there. Okay, I guess I'm going to plant those. Let's see how those work. So it was really grounding. It was really good, and I really loved the meaning of working with that particular moon energy. It was really good. Then we went into a new trecena, and to work with the new trecena, and if you're new to my channel and you're new to this verbiage of trecena is a 13-day period, kind of like we have a 7-day week. Well, trecena is 13 days, and the overall energy of those 13 days is led by a specific deity or energy. And so you always keep that in your mind while working through things within the month, because that kind of keeps you grounded and knows just kind of how to base what you're doing, what you're thinking when you're drawing cards, how you're working with things. So I use the future ancestors and a wee star in the forest of precious twigs together. Art styles are a little bit different, but I did love the overall energy because I was really looking for ancestral type of energy to work through within this trecena. And when I'm talking about ancestral, I'm talking about future ancestral as well as what's already in existence. So this to me is what already is, and this to me is what is coming to fruition, what is going to evolve within myself, within others around me, and working with that old energy and that new energy, and how to really focus and work with it, learn from it, grow from it, because that's what it's all about, right? We're just trying to grow and expand. And I mean, that is why we came to tarot to begin with, right? To help understand concepts and ideas and thoughts and manage the cheetah, the monkey mind. That's why I came to tarot. It was a physical way to see what was going on outside and inside. I don't know. I love tarot and oracle for that reason, just working with it in that respect. Okay, here we go. So Jumble Dance. Now we moved into working with the Jumble Dance. And this one is a deck that I had really wanted for quite some time. And I worked with it with the Tantric Dakini. Let me go ahead and grab that. So here's the Tantric Dakini. And I really couldn't figure out where I was headed with the Jumble Dance. And I think I was having a really rough day on this day. And the Tantric Dakini just kind of covers all kinds of areas of spirituality in general, a lot of concepts. And I felt like the Jumble Dance did the same thing. So on this day that I thought, okay, well, the energy's kind of mish because there's nothing exactly like we're working with Tantric type concepts. Within the Tantric Dakini, it does cover Tantric, but it also covers all kinds of other concepts. And it just felt that way with the Jumble Dance for me as well. So I thought, since the energy is kind of like, let's just handle the universe in a deck, I thought that these two would match up. But I was really having a hard time this day. I was having a hard time with focus. Nothing was making sense to me. I did write a pretty good amount within my journaling, but guys, it was really, really hard for me to focus. Really hard. So I did end up reverting back after a few days working with those two. I ended up just like, okay, maybe this is not working. So Mother's Day came along. I worked with my wonderful and beautiful Wild and Sacred Feminine deck, and I pulled cards intentionally and just wrote about a few things. And then I came back to the Poesis and Be With Your Body Tarot because I needed some additional grounding here. This was a day that we were attending my daughter's academic award ceremony. And during this time, let me come back here. During this time right here, this was when we had that big solar storm and everything was kind of crazy. A few days later, and I'm still working with that overall crazy energy. So I thought maybe, just maybe, working with the Tantric Dakini and working with the Jumble dance when the energies were so crazy was just a little bit too much. I don't know if any of you witnessed the Northern Lights in areas where you don't usually get the Northern Lights or not, but we did try. We drove up to an area that everybody else drove up to too. So it was, it was just like crazy on crazy, and we did not see any Northern Lights. I ended up working with the Tarot Avatara as I went into a few more days of the month. And the Tarot Avatara, this is all about passion. This is all about living life and feeling it and experiencing it and taking the bull by the horn sometimes. I worked with it along with the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. And I just needed like a color for grounding right in the middle of these two, or right in the middle of the Tarot Avatara. And you know what, guys? This particular card, I can feel a bend. I don't know if I bent this card or not, but I'm really sad if I did. I can feel it, but it's okay. It's still functioning fine. But you see how these two work so well together? It's just like this main message, this focus. Let's focus for a minute, and then let's work with this energy, because Tarot Avatara, it's passionate, fiery, led from the gut almost, very emotional as well. But when you put a deck like this in here, the Sacred Symbols, it just makes you stop and focus. Let's just take a moment here. Let's breathe through some of the chaos, because there is a point of chaotic energy within the Tarot Avatara. I do love it for that though, because she worked from that spot. You know, she was just trying to live. She was trying to get the best life that she could and explored all kinds of options and ran with it. So I really love the solid color, that one image, that one word where you can just focus a little bit. And again, this was just coming out of like that solar energy that we have been experiencing over and over again. Like that energy really has not stopped, guys. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. Just because we're not experiencing the northern lights in areas that we don't usually, and we're still experiencing that overall. There have been so many solar flares, and if you kind of look back at some of your dates and think about what was going on and how you were handling life at that time, you might be amazed to find that they all kind of correlate, interestingly enough. Okay, so, oh my goodness, see, I just put this deck away and then I used it here. This is the Lilifer Tarot. I love the Lilifer Tarot. I love anything that Marion creates. I really do. I love her work. She has had her shop closed for a little bit. I think she's getting settled again out in Joshua Tree, and she's going to be opening up her shop. Guys, support her. She really needs support at this time. And if it's by buying something, a patch, a sticker, if you have the means to do so, like, I don't know. I just feel like she has given to the community two fantastic decks that aren't matched by anything else out there in the market, being the Reclaim and the Lilifer. There's nothing to me that's like the Lilifer and the Reclaim. Nothing. I love the energy of both of these decks. And again, this symbol and this color and this grounding force between these other cards was very helpful for me to work with at this time as well. So it was great. And a lot of the times, guys, what I'm pulling, and that's why I think maybe the basket decks concept is a little difficult for me, because a lot of the times I'm looking at the Mayan cosmology and the energy of the day, and then I stop and think, whoa, wait a minute, I need this particular deck. So that's why some decks come in afterwards. Okay, I do Mayan abdominal massages, and I took another workshop, and then from the workshop, my friend and I got to talking, and we're going to be working with some stuff together. And then I did like a yoga class based on Mayan massage. So I went ahead and documented that particular flow. Well, I came up with the flow just based on the Mayan massage techniques. But I'm really excited to kind of get that class, the idea that I think it's going to be amazing, because it's going to be more than just Mayan massage. It's going to be more than yoga. It's going to be a nice little package put together for the sake of healing within a few hours. So I'm excited to get that off the ground. And then there were some days that I didn't pull a deck at all. It was just journaling and thoughts and ideas. And then here comes graduation. Graduation, I did manage to pull some cards on graduation, and I wanted my ancestors with me. I wanted my mom. And so this is a way of calling in my mom. This is the way of calling in everybody who had something to do with teaching me something, and the lessons that I've learned from my ancestors. So this is the Herbcrafters Tarot. I just adore this deck. I love this deck. It is so good. I paired that up with a couple of decks, the Earth Magic Oracle, and then I paired it up with the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. But this was such an important day. And then what I did is I just came back and journaled afterwards. I documented it with a lot of pictures from the events of the last couple of days. And I gave my daughter the words to Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. If you're not familiar with the song, songs are very important to me, guys. Songs are just a way that I remember certain points in life or certain things in life, and the lyrics are extremely important for me as well. So I gave her the lyrics to Unwritten in one of her cards. And then we come into the full moon in Sagittarius. This was a little difficult for me to get grounded into, the whole moon in Sagittarius, because it was so close to graduation. And so I did manage to pull through and get my crap together. For this particular full moon in Sagittarius, I used When Olga Speaks. And again, I'm trying to pull from decks that carry the overall energy of whatever it is that I'm experiencing. You hear me getting up from my crinky chair because I obviously was not prepared enough and didn't have everything around me. But this is the Guided Hand Tarot along with When Olga Speaks, and I love these two together. I really like the energy of these two decks. Now, there were some decks that I saw, oh gosh, when was it? It was, I believe, last month. And they were like Zodiac, yeah, I think it was last month, Zodiac type cards. But the images were very similar to me, to this kind of a deck. So guys, I am constantly like talking myself down for purchasing new decks, because it's like, you know what? I really do have something very similar to that deck. And I was almost at like the hit the buy button type thing with, I think it's the, oh my gosh, I don't remember the name. I'll put it down below. But I had to talk myself down and just wait for a moment. And I feel like I already have the energy and I have enough. I did that video about the zodiac decks so that I could remind myself that I already have decks with those zodiac symbols in it, and maybe I don't need any more. So doing that really helped me. I think maybe I just have to, you know, sit down with the camera on and work through, like, what do I have that matches that energy so that I can talk myself down and not purchase something new. I don't know. But it's been hard for me. It's been difficult to, like, I want to just buy something, but I have a greater cause right now. You know, I have something greater that I need to do. And so, yeah, that was, I don't know how that got into this conversation. Squirrel, once again. Okay, there's my journaling. I'm not going to show you that. And then I started working with the, I came back to Magical Nature. Magical Nature Tarot. Oh my goodness, you guys. Again, one of those gifts from my box. This deck, the feel of the deck, just the feel of the deck really is settling. It really is grounding. And to know that everything was made with a specific type of, the ink that you see here, the colors that you see, they're all natural products. And I love this deck. And again, this was one of those decks or one of those times that I pulled cards and I wasn't working with another oracle or anything else to accompany it. I only worked with the tarot. And this is just something that I've kind of been called to do more and more lately. Not that it's wrong, not that it's bad, it's just very different for me. So I'm just trying to pay attention to how and why. You know, I don't need an answer for everything, but some things just don't get explained. But yeah, I felt really called to work with those. Okay, so now the Wisdom de Alma, coming back to my journal here. I know it's kind of willy-nilly when I do things like that. I really wanted to work with the Wisdom de Alma and just give it my all and work with it with a few decks. So I shared a bunch of decks within my walkthrough of this. I shared a bunch of pairings, but one deck that I can't believe that I left out is the Gentle Tarot. Now, I don't know how or why I wouldn't have, whoops, throwing things around here. I wouldn't have initially thought to pair this up with the Gentle Tarot. But can I tell you that this was such a wonderful, wonderful pairing. The Gentle Tarot is beautiful and nurturing and grounding and of the earth and really tapping into that inner passion, that your soul in a sense. And then the Wisdom de Alma is kind of lighting a fire under your ass, to be very blunt about it. Like it is an affirmation deck, as she titles it, but to me it's more than that, because of the writing behind it. And I just have really enjoyed working with this deck. I don't know if it's this time and space within my life, and maybe in a year or so I could be like, I don't know about that, but it's been really, really amazing for me. So you have this: I activate the priestess within me and I tend to the temple of me. I adorn myself in beauty, magic, and grace. But then on the back, the back is like the core, the real meat of it. So sometimes I would just write this little phrase within my journal, and sometimes I would write this whole thing because it was just really, really touching and deep. I commit to practicing radical self-care and self-worship. I undo the lies that tell me that adoring myself is shallow. I claim self-devotion as holy. As I anoint myself in ritual, my pleasure expands. There's certain things within this deck that are very unraveling, especially for me within my culture. You know, we're brought up in a certain way and we're taught that certain things are bad and that you should be ashamed of certain things. Gosh, guys, even your period, even having your monthly cycle was something that you were not supposed to talk about, not to discuss. Like, my mom never even had a conversation with us about your monthly cycle. We just kind of figured it out because we were talking to other kids, other people, or our sisters, or, you know, something of that sort, but not from my mom. It never came from my mom. So there is a certain amount of like unraveling that needs to happen. And still, in this day and age, at the age that I am, I still come back to those type of like old thoughts and beliefs. They kind of pop in, even if it's just for a moment, and then I have to unravel and uncondition myself. This deck kind of gives you that permission with gentleness that's provided to give you a really beautiful support system within these two. That was a lot of conversation just to get that all out. Jeez Louise, man. I can be really talky sometimes, and then other times I just don't want to say too many words at all. Anywho, this was the surprise pairing that, as I finished up the video and then when I started working with this deck, I was like, why didn't I think of that during the video? So, yeah, I worked with a few decks with that. I worked with the Wild Unknown. I worked with the Future Ancestors as well, and that was really nice, but nothing stood out to me as much as working with it alongside the Gentle Tarot. Then I came back to the Jumble Dance and to the, actually, I replaced the Oracle and I started working with it alongside When Olga Speaks. And you know what? When Olga Speaks is just such a wonderful deck. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this deck. I know that she's going to come back to it. Guys, if you have an opportunity, even without a guidebook, this particular deck is just amazing. It really is. It's not in print at the moment. She is still talking about bringing it to Kickstarter. She's working on the guidebook. Be patient. For me, this deck, it's just an amazing, amazing deck. Just this one picture, this one word, no guidebook at this time, but I don't need it because Olga speaks. Olga taps in, and she is some kind of magic. I really, really enjoy this deck. And guys, that is all that I have for you. So that's my monthly wrap-up for the month of May. I apologize that it came out so late, but I appreciate you. I thank you so much for being part of this community, and I will see you later.